up the stream now. But we can't use music because it's a Moby Dick reading stream. And we don't want our thing to be destroyed by the terrible people with the copyright claims. Okay, so here we go. It's me and Scar online right now. And if I look at our situation in terms of storage here, this is not great. I'm going to be honest. This is not a good storage-related situation. Okay, so let's go ahead and make sure that we've got everything actually set up. Are we live? Okay, there's one person saying hello. Good, that's a good start. So if I go to view my channel on YouTube, okay, reading Moby Dick live. So the title is set. Hey, good evening, Sparrowwood. Good evening, Abertonus. Good evening, Niva Sweets. Tenno Sunflower. Welcome, Alien Bunny. Eerie Eclipse. Measy Guru. Sky Hacker. Krollel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're gonna go ahead and get everything all set. Luckily, I can't sing on key enough to get copyright struck for that. Bum, 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 bum. Welcome, Maria Salas. Okay, if you've never been to one of these reading streams before, they're a lot different from the other streams. Let me tell you. And everything here is kind of a mess at the moment as well. So we're going to be doing a few things. Okay, first off, we're going to be grabbing our sword. And we're going to be filling our inventory with red. Let's put these diamonds back in there for right now. Put that back there. Okay. So we are going to go repair our tools. We have got a basic start to this stream in terms of what we recorded yesterday. We need to meet up with Etho later. He's supposed to be around today or tomorrow, but that's not the same as at a particular time on a particular day. So let's lean into that with the appropriate amount of expectations, everybody. What we need to do... Brickworks19 says, I'm not a big regular here, but after seeing your base ingredients tour, I had to pop in. Well, thank you very much. Tonight we are going to be doing some digging on that base while we read Moby Dick out loud. Every Saturday night, I do the grindiest stuff in Minecraft while I read Moby Dick aloud. So that way, the people who are like, oh, I can't come this Saturday, I'll be like, well, that's okay. We just read Moby Dick. You can read it yourself. But the people who are here can be like, well, this is better than hiring a babysitter because babysitters cost money. And Joe Hills, he only gently requests money by pointing out that this is a viewer-supported stream and that tips are welcome via paypal.me/Joe Hills and YouTube Super Chat. We are $20 away from our first face camera expansion milestone. So I'm going to post that link. Okay. I'm not joking where we are again. I actually am reading Moby Dick. We're starting on chapter 95, the cassock. So, because we've been reading for a while, and that's just where we happen to be at this juncture. Boy, I need to eat more in-game food, though. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to free up some of those, and we're going to put these over there. Great. Okay, perfect. Yeah, chapter 95. 13CMI says, I've never read Moby Dick, so this is perfect. Uh-oh, chapter 95, I'm missing a lot. Not really. This book moves so much slower. This is the book equivalent of a guy coming up to you at a party and trying to tell you a story, but he keeps getting distracted. So, if you were like, oh, hey, I was here for chapter 15, what have I missed? I'd be like, well, it's about a week later. Not quite, but they're still relatively early in the voyage at chapter 95. Oh my gosh. I was like, there's something in the settings I need to change. That's the mob sounds. My spouse is looking at me like, what was that shriek? It's like, mob sounds loud. Okay, so we're going to repair our tools, and then we're going to go do some digging. Let's make sure we got all our windows set up properly so we can see tip alerts, we can see 3 chats. Okay. Howdy, Audrey Holt. We are just about to read chapter 95 of Moby Dick. Oh, I forgot to do the what we're reading link. Hold on. What we're reading. I need to post this and pin this. What we're reading. This is why it still says setting up stream, because I'm not done setting up the stream. What we're reading. We need to set up our links. We need to fix our tools. We posted the tipping link. We greeted everybody. Tapeyu, only the Saturday VODs get saved. And they're in the Moby Dick playlist. Okay, so here we go. Chapter 95, The Cassock. Had you stepped on board the Pequod at a certain juncture of this post-mortemizing of the whale, and had you strolled forward, nigh the windlass, pretty sure am I that you would have scanned with no small curiosity a very strange, enigmatical object, which you would have seen there, lying along lengthwise in the lee scuppers. Not the wondrous cistern in the whale's huge head, not the prodigy of his unhinged lower jaw, not the miracle of his symmetrical tail. None of these would surprise you, as half a glimpse of that unaccountable cone, longer than a Kentuckian is tall, nigh a foot in diameter at the base, and jet black as Yojo, the ebony idol of Queequeg. And an idol, indeed it is. Or, rather, in old times, its likeness was. Such an idol as that found in the secret groves of Queen Macaw in Judah, and for worship in which King Asa, her son, did depose her, and destroyed the idol, and burnt it for an abomination in the brook Kidron, as darkly set forth in the 15th chapter of the first book of Kings. But anyway, look at the sailor, called the Mincer, who now comes along, and, assisted by 2 allies, heavily backs the Grandissimus, as the mariners call it, and with bowed shoulders staggers off with it as if he were a grenadier carrying a dead comrade from the field. Extending it upon the forecastle deck, he now proceeds cylindrically to remove its dark pelt, as an African hunter, the pelt of a boa. This done, he turns the pelt inside out like a pantaloon leg, gives it a good stretching so as almost to double its diameter, and at last hangs it well spread in the rigging to dry. Ere long it is taken down, when removing some 3 feet of it towards the pointed extremity, and then cutting it 2 slits for armholes at the other end, he lengthwise slips himself bodily into it. The Mincer now stands before you, invested in the full canonicals of his calling, immemorial to all his order. This investiture alone will adequately protect him while employed in the peculiar functions of his office. That office consists in mincing the horse pieces of blubber for the pots, an operation which is conducted at an odd wooden horse, planted elusive endwise against the bulwarks, and with a capacious tub beneath it, into which the minced pieces drop fast as the sheets from a rapt orator's desk. Arrayed in decent black, occupying a conspicuous pulpit, intent on Bible leaves, what a candidate for an archbishopric! What a lad for a pope were this mincer! Bible leaves! Bible leaves! This is the invariable cry from the mates to the mincer. It enjoins him to be careful and cut his work into as thin slices as possible, insomuch as by doing so the business of boiling out the oil is much accelerated, and its quantity considerably increased, besides, perhaps, improving its quality. And thus concludes Chapter 95 of Moby Dick, or The Whale by Herman Melville, entitled The Cassock. And we have just arrived at the part of the show where I thank the first person who tips. Thank you to Where We Are Again, or Where Are We Again for tipping 10, who says, to clarify, I genuinely and unironically love Moby Dick, and I'm having an incredible time. You got some great chapters coming up, and I am glad to support. Well, thank you so much. Where are we again? That gets us 10 away from the next Face Gamer expansion milestone. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/Joe Hills and YouTube Super Chat. These chapters in this part of the 90s are pretty short, so we're going to do several of them tonight as we read and work. I just repaired my tools. Now I got to go do some digging, but we got quite a bit to do. But yeah, Jevon's gift to me is appreciated. I haven't actually had the chance to go properly enchant all those yet, but I do still have a whole box of tools, which I think I left behind. Burp. Well, we're going to have to go back to the TCG area if Etho logs on anyway, so we'll just go get more tools then, which is fine. So there's chapters that move the plot forward. There's chapters where he tells stories that he heard from other ships he met. And there's chapters where he explains random stuff about whaling. That was a random stuff about whaling. That was, let's talk about what the mincer wears. The chapter of Moby Dick by Herman Melville. Okay. So the chapters where he meets the other ships, he'll have a relatively short chapter where it's like, oh yeah, we met this other ship, blah, blah, blah. And then the next chapter after that will be like 8 times as long as the other chapters. Might take me an hour to read. And it'll be like, okay, so one guy on the other ship told us this story, and you know what? I've traveled all over the world, and I've confirmed it. This actually happened, and you won't believe it. And it'll just be like the most bonkers stuff. And like, but like this has nothing to do with advancing the plot of the ship we're on. This is just giving you a sense of like how, like, the stuff that's happening on the ship they're on is almost normal in comparison. It's just to make the ship they're on seem more normal. That every other whaling ship is basically Wayside School is sailing now. So, anyway. Yeah, this is a book where a guy rambles a lot, but in a very entertaining way. That is actually, I think, very culturally significant, because this guy basically is not writing science fiction, but he anticipated internet communication better than anyone else I've ever seen in fiction. He'll have entire chapters where he's just like, okay, I'm going to rank all the whales now. And you could substitute the stuff about whales with stuff about different iterations of Spider-Man. And it's just like, wow. This guy saw the future. This guy saw the future. It is wild and wacky stuff. So, 13 CMI says, I love the graphic design is my passion thing. Yeah, thank you. That was my my map I made for inventory management is my passion. So for those of you who saw the Grian tour, during Grian's tour, we hadn't finished that pool in the middle yet. I hadn't gotten the floor in over here. We still have to do the roof. We hadn't started Asuma's parking lot, which we're waiting till Asuma gets back from holiday to finish. And we hadn't dug out the mountain over here. So we've actually got a lot done, a lot of progress since Grian's tour. What we're going to be working on this evening while we read Moby Dick, next up is Chapter 96, The Try Works. But what we're going to be reading is Moby Dick. What we're going to be doing is digging out this mountain right here. So let me go ahead and get the what we're reading link updated. Do. Replace pinned message. Okay, so we have updated our pinned message. And so now it is time. No, Gutenberg. It's Project Gutenberg, the true Bobert, not Project Gutentag. That would be like hello in German. And we're not prepared to be greeted. That's not what we came here to do. Okay. So let's see what we need to do. We need to dig out all this. Yep. Now, for project management purposes, we want to be able to make time lapses of what we've been doing. And the way that the time-lapse generation works in Minecraft, if you change dimensions in the middle of a file, it causes problems. So you'll see the hermits sometimes disconnect and reconnect for replay mod purposes. That's what we're doing right now. But yeah. Hello, Melon Moogle. Hello, VNC. Welcome one and all. Let me just make sure we haven't missed any tips before we start reading the next part. Just as a reminder, any tips that roll in while I'm reading a chapter, I'll wait until I hit a logical break in the chapter or the end of the chapter before thanking you. We don't have automated pop-up alerts on this stream because I feel like it cuts into the flow of the book. So here we go. Chapter 96 of Moby Dick by Herman Melville. The Try-Works. Besides her hoisted boats, an American whaler is outwardly distinguished by her try-works. She presents the curious anomaly of the most solid masonry joining with oak and hemp in constituting the completed ship. It is as if from the open field a brick kiln were transported to her planks. The try-works are planted between the foremast and mainmast, the most roomy part of the deck. The timbers beneath are of a peculiar strength, fitted to sustain the weight of an almost solid mass of brick and mortar, some 10 feet by 8 feet square, and 5 in height. The foundation does not penetrate the deck, but the masonry is firmly secured to the surface by ponderous knees of iron bracing it on all sides and screwing it down into the timbers. On the flanks it is cased with wood, and at top completely covered by a large, sloping, battened hatchway. Removing this hatch, we expose the great trypots, 2 in number, and each of several barrels' capacity. When not in use, they are kept remarkably clean. Sometimes they are polished with soapstone and sand, till they shine within like silver punch bowls. During the night watches, some cynical old sailors will crawl into them and coil themselves away there for a nap. While employed in polishing them, 1 man in each pot, side by side, many confidential communications are carried on over the iron lips. It is a place also for profound mathematical meditation. It was in the left-hand tripod of the quad, with the soapstone diligently circling round me, that I was first indirectly struck by the remarkable fact that in geometry, all bodies gliding along the cycloid, my soapstone, for example, will descend from any point in precisely the same time. Removing the fireboard from the front of the try-works, the bare masonry of that side is exposed, penetrated by the 2 iron mouths of the furnaces directly underneath the pots. These mouths are fitted with heavy doors of iron. The intense heat of the fire is prevented from communicating itself to the deck by means of a shallow reservoir extending under the entire enclosed surface of the works. by a tunnel inserted at the rear. This reservoir is kept replenished with water as fast as it evaporates. There are no external chimneys. They open direct from the rear wall. And here, let us go back for a moment. It was about 9 o'clock at night that the Pequod's try-works were first started on this present voyage. It belonged to Stubb to oversee the business. "All ready there, off hatch then, and starter you, cook, fire the works." This was an easy thing, for the carpenter had been thrusting his shavings into the furnace throughout the passage. Here be it said that in a whaling voyage, the first fire in the try-works has to be fed for a time with wood, and after that, no wood is used, except as a means of quick ignition to the staple fuel. In a word, after being tried out, the crisp, shriveled blubber, now called scraps or fritters, still contains considerable of its unctuous properties. These fritters feed the flames like a plethoric burning martyr or a self-consuming misanthrope. Once ignited, the whale supplies his own fuel and burns by his own body. Would that he be consumed by his own smoke, for his smoke is horrible to inhale, and inhale it you must, and not only that, but you must live in it for the time. It has an unspeakable wild odor about it, such as may lurk in the vicinity of funeral pyres. It smells like the left wing of the day of judgment. It is an argument for the pit. By midnight, the works were in full operation. We were clear from the carcass. Sail had been made. The wind was freshening. The wild ocean darkness was intense. But that darkness was licked up by the fierce flames, which at intervals forked forth from the sooty flues and illuminated every lofty rope in the rigging, as with the famed Greek fire. The burning ship drove on as if remorselessly commissioned to some vengeful deed. So the pitch and sulphur-freighted brigs of the bold Hydriote Canaris, issuing from their midnight harbors with broad sheets of flame for sails, bore down upon the Turkish frigates and folded them in conflagrations. The hatch, removed from the top of the work, now afforded a wide hearth in front of them. Standing on this were the Tartarian shapes of the pagan harpooneers, always the whale ship's stokers. With huge pronged poles, they pitched hissing masses of blubber into the scalding pots, or stirred up the fires beneath, till the snaky flames darted, curling out of the doors to catch them by the feet. The smoke rolled away in sullen heaps. To every pitch of the ship, there was a pitch of the boiling oil, which seemed all eagerness to leap into their faces. Opposite the mouth of the works, on the further side of the wide wooden hearth, was the windlass. This served for a sea sofa. Here lounged the watch, when not otherwise employed, looking into the red heat of the fire, till their eyes felt scorched in their heads. Their tawny features, now all begrimed with smoke and sweat, their matted beards, and the contrasting barbaric brilliancy of their teeth, All these were strangely revealed in the capricious emblazonings of the works. As they narrated to each other their unholy adventures, their tales of terror told in words of mirth, as their uncivilized laughter forked upward out of them like the flames from the furnace, as to and fro in the front, the harpooneers wildly gesticulated with their huge pronged forks and dippers, as the wind howled on, and the sea leaped, and the ship groaned and dived, and yet steadfastly shot her red hell further and further into the blackness of the sea and the night, and scornfully champed the white bone in her mouth, and viciously spat round her on all sides. Then the rushing Pequod, freighted with savages, laden with fire, and burning a corpse, plunging into the blackness of darkness, seemed the material counterpart of her monomaniac commander's soul. So it seemed to me as I stood at the helm, and for long hours silently guided the way of this fire ship on the sea, wrapped for that interval in darkness myself, I but the better saw the redness, the madness, the ghastliness of others. The continual sight of the fiend shapes before me, capering half in smoke and half in fire, these at last begat kindred visions in my soul. So soon as I began to yield to that unaccountable drowsiness which ever would come over me at a midnight helm. But that night, in particular, a strange, and ever since, inexplicable thing occurred to me. Starting from a brief standing sleep, I was horribly conscious of something fatally wrong. The jawbone tiller smote my side, which leaned against it. In my ears was the low hum of sails just beginning to shake in the wind. I thought my eyes were open. I was half conscious of putting my fingers to the lid and mechanically stretching them still further apart, but spite of all this, I could see no compass before me to steer by, though it seemed but a minute since I had been watching the card by the steady binnacle lamp illuminating it. Nothing seemed before me but a jet gloom, now and then made ghastly by flashes of redness. Uppermost was the impression that whatever swift rushing thing I stood on was not so much bound to any haven ahead as rushing from all havens astern. A stark, bewildering feeling, as of death, came over me. Convulsively, my hand grasped the tiller, but with the crazy conceit that the tiller was somehow, in some enchanted way, inverted. My God, what is the matter with me? Thought I. Lo, in my brief sleep I had turned myself about and was fronting the ship's stern, with my back to her prow and the compass. In an instant I faced back, just in time to prevent the vessel from flying up into the wind, and, very probably, capsizing her. How glad and how grateful the relief from this unnatural hallucination of the night, and the fatal contingency of being brought by the lee. Look not too long in the face of the fire, O man. Never dream with a hand on the helm. Turn not thy back to the compass, except the first hint of the hitching tiller. Believe not the artificial fire when its redness makes all things look ghastly. Tomorrow, in the natural sun, the skies will be bright. Those who glared like devils in the forking flames, the morn will show in far other, at least gentler, relief. The glorious, golden, glad sun, the only true lamp, all others are but liars. Nevertheless, the sun hides not Virginia's dismal swamp, nor Rome's accursed Campania, nor wide Sahara, nor all the millions of miles of deserts and of griefs beneath the moon. The sun hides not the ocean, which is the dark side of this earth, and which is 2/3 of this earth. So, therefore, what mortal man who hath more of joy than of sorrow in him, that mortal man cannot be true, not true, or undeveloped. With books the same. The truest of all men was the man of sorrows, and the truest of all books is Solomon's. And Ecclesiastes, is the fine hammered steel of woe. All is vanity. All. This willful world has not got hold of unchristian Solomon's wisdom yet, but he who dodges hospitals and jails and walks fast crossing graveyards and would rather talk of operas than hell calls Cowper, Young, Pascal, Rousseau, poor devils all of sick men, and throughout a carefree lifetime swears by Rabelais as passing wise, and therefore jolly. Not that man is fitted to sit down on tombstones and break the green damp mold with unfathomably wondrous Solomon. But even Solomon, he says, the man that wandereth out the way of understanding shall remain, i.e., even while living, in the congregation of the dead. Give not thyself up then to fire, lest it invert thee, deaden thee, as for the time it did me. There is a wisdom that is woe, but there is a woe that is madness. And there is a Catskill eagle in some souls that can alike dive down into the blackest gorges and soar out of them again and become invisible in the sunny spaces. And even if he forever flies within the gorge, that gorge is in the mountains, so that even the lowest swoop of the mountain eagle is still higher than other birds upon the plain, even though they soar. And that concludes chapter 96 of Moby Dick, or The Whale, by Herman Melville. Any thoughts on that chapter from anybody? A lot of good imagery in that chapter. So we started off with, okay, here's some stuff about how this part of the ship works. But also, let me tell you about how one time I almost capsized just because I fell asleep while looking at that part of the ship because it was really cool and I was tired. Because that's how you tell a story. Kai Ferem says, thank you, Mr. Melville, for these important bird facts. Also, it looks like we have a tip that rolled in during the reading. Thank you to Mellow Moogle for tip in one. Let's see. Mellow Moogle says, does anyone else ever try to reconcile with how their instructor in English or advanced literature class read Moby Dick? I mean, here's the thing, though, is different people read for different reasons. Somebody who's trying to read this to show y'all how, like, refined it is not going to read it the same way as me. Because I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to explain how relevant it is. There's a difference, right? So I'm going to read this with, like, a friendlier tone, you know, than maybe a professor would. But thank you for the question, Mellow Moogle. Do I think the hermits and myself would be interested in charity streams for mental health organizations? I have done charity streams for all sorts of organizations in the past. But it is a challenge for me to organize charity streams. Um, I worked with I was on the board for a while of a charity organization called Draw for Charity that focuses on supporting Child's Play and Heifer International. Um, they're not really active at the moment because the guy who founded its house caught on fire, and he's just been kind of like recovering ever since. But yeah, and then I helped with the stuff that Scar organized, which was for Gamers Outreach. I've helped with Leukemia and Lymphoma Foundation and American Heart Association stuff. It's just kind of one of those things about, like, what do I get invited to? Um, he tried to email another hermit via their business email. I mean, yes, I have worked with Scar before, who is online right now. Um, but yeah, it's one of those things where, like, if somebody organized something legitimate and was like, hey, I'm running a charity. So I've also done charity D&D games benefiting different charities. Like, if somebody approaches me and says, hey, I've got this all sorted out, do you want to come and play in a charity D&D game with Ryan North? I'd be like, the dinosaur comics guy? Of course I do. Yes, sign me up. And then I did that, and it was one of the coolest things ever. But, like, if you're like, hey, here's a cool charity, maybe you should organize an event for it, I don't have the capacity for that right now. I'm pretty overwhelmed with my existing responsibilities. And so I help out as much as I can, but yeah, I couldn't take on, like, no matter how good the charity is, I'm just not in a place. Like, even when I was on the board of Draw for Charity, which was the one that did Child's Play and Heifer International card game and D&D and video game stuff. Like, even when I was on the board there, it was because I knew the 4 other people on the board could kind of carry it, and I could reach out to people and stuff because I had some connections. Like, I I don't want to give the implication that my desire to help and my capacity for help are in any way the same. They're not. But no, I appreciate your interest in having us involved with stuff like that. And if you are working as part of, like, a established group that is organizing big events and would like us to be guests, reach out to us about showing up at your event. But I'm just gonna be realistic and say, hey, if you're just like, hey, I heard of this cool charity, can you do an event for it? The answer is gonna probably be, we're already overbooked on that stuff. Gotcha. Well, if you've benefited from a charity before and that's why you want to let us know about it, you could also organize events, is my point. It's a different thing to organize something. For you to work on an event for 6 months so that we can show up for 3 hours is really the best force multiplier use of everybody's time. So, if you don't know how to organize a charity event, I would recommend finding people who do organize charity events and offering to volunteer to help them with theirs until you feel like you are up to speed enough to try running your own. No, you don't have to have a streaming setup to run a charity event. You can work with people who have streaming setups. Like I said, my advice would be to find other people who are doing fundraisers for that charity now or for charities you care about, and to try to volunteer. Ask if they need help with anything. Ask if they need help moderating. marketing. You know, there's a lot of skills that go into organizing a charity event. And helping out wherever you can, you'll pick up those skills. Howdy, NJ's friend. Okay. So that's one pickaxe down, and we should probably return back to the TCG area to get the others. Unless the ones that Jeff brought. Some of those might have been already done. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. No problem, Mellow Moogle. Thank you for taking an interest. Okay, the gift from Jevin was out this way, I think. Efficiency 5 and mending. So these are missing a bunch of unbreakings. Is it worth it? I don't know if I can enchant things while reading. But we do need to go deal with this eventually. So maybe we should just try and deal with this now. Yeah, that's something that Isuma put on the server. I don't know how it works. But yeah, it yells at you if you're about to have a pickaxe break or something. Oh, my bookmaking stuff is in the other one too. Okay, yeah. But wait, okay, let's go ahead and put a replay mod event marker in there to let me know that we are done with the digging part of this part of the stream. Okay, and where are we heading? As you can see, our map here mirrors the other one. Okay, so we need to go to... Let's go to Gaming District, I guess, and pick up my books. No, we don't. We're actually out of books. So let's go to just Cleo and Cubvan's area. I think the neighborhood portal is probably the nearest one to that, but is this the nearest one? These are the spawn chunks. Oh, that's the new spawn chunks. Does this portal go anywhere? It says... Okay. Just as a reminder, this is a viewer-supported stream. If you're having more fun watching me than you would otherwise, feel free to tip. Otherwise, don't worry about it. It's fine. Oh, we need to welcome back Scar. Okay, so where is Cleo's thing? I think it's out this way. Yeah, the fact that I'm down to 2 rockets is not good. I mean, I do have a whole box with more, but... Okay, somewhere Cleo has a little mud house. There it is. In the muddle of the street, mud house. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, mud house. La-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so we want to find one of these guys that has the bookshelf. Bookshelves. Da-na-na-na-na-na-nee. Okay. And then we need to break the bookshelves. We actually want some of these bookshelves for use in the shop, probably. Okay, so let's see what else we got. Hey, we got a tip rolling in from Wanderer Mask, who tips 3. That puts us now 6 away from the first face camera expansion milestone. I'm down here in slot 9 putting the hot in the hot bar. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Camera gets bigger when we hit certain tipping milestones, and we are $6 away from the next one. Thank you, Wanderer Mask. Okay. So Fortune 3. Probably want 1, 2. How many of these pickaxes do we have? We have 8, 9. Okay, so let's get... I guess 5 Silk Touch. Silk Touch. La da 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 da. Okay, so we now have 4 and 5. Cool, cool, cool. Now we need to go get some mending. Which means we're going to need more. We need 9 mending, so let's, like, break 3 more of these. Mending, mending, mending. Mending, 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 mending. Oh no, my books. Well, we're not getting those back. Okay, is there an anvil here? It's fine. Looting. Why did I get looting? I meant to get... Yeah, one of these guys gives you looting if you're not careful. So there's like a bunch of extra looting books. Okay, so let's combine mending plus fortune. Mending plus fortune. If we go the other way, it's still the same price. Mending plus fortune. Well, that's fun. Good job, Cleo. Why do we have a looting 1 book? Okay, so Fortune 3 and Mending. Mending and Mending is not what we want. Mending and Fortune. Mending and Silk Touch. Silk Touch and Mending. Mending and Silk Touch. Okay, we have enough to do 7 of these somehow. So we're going to take this and we're going to break those down here. Silk Touch. Silk Touch. Hey, Stephanie Hall. We'll get to the stream eventually. We don't have enough tools right now. Okay. So, mending. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have somehow screwed this up. Not sure how. Silk Touch plus Mending, 2. We have 8 of these. So maybe we didn't screw this up. I don't know. So 2 extra mending books, whatever. We'll hold on to those for later. Oh no, these had mending. What did they not have? They didn't have unbreaking on them. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we did this entirely wrong. Mending, mending. Okay. Okay. What are we working on tonight? We're trying to enchant some pickaxes. And it's going about as well as one might expect. Okay, so we need 18 books total, assuming we don't screw anything else up. So there's 12, 15, 18. Okay, unbreaking 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Okay, so now Silk Touch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whatever, we're not even going to deal with fortune. It's just easier this way. Okay, so now it's about to be sunset, so we're going to lay our heads down and dream. Yeah, the face camera's in slot 9. I'm putting the hot in the hotbar until we hit a tipping milestone and the camera gets bigger. We are currently $6 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. Okay. So we need to go this way so I can get my sword before we go to the nether to enchant this stuff. Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so we're going to set our spawn here so we come back here after we're done enchanting. Going to get rid of that box, and then we're going to grab the sword out of this box. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, and now we're going to go level up. Actually, let's reconstruct these into fancy things. Blocks of emerald everywhere going into this here chest. Hey, we got a tip rolling in from Odd. Tip in 10 who says, let's get you out of that hotbar. Woo! Thank you, Odd. That gets us 4 past our next face camera expansion milestone. Please direct your attention down here to slot 9 because I'm about to say, howdy, y'all. Grow Hills here, expanding as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. Dee-da-dee-da-dee. Dee-da-dee-da-dee. Triforce says, I like the floor pattern on the first floor. Thanks. I was trying to make it feel like a real game shop. I feel like this is close. Hey, we also got a tip rolling in from NJ for 6. That puts us 10 away from our next face camera expansion milestone. Thank you very much to NJ. Okay. So let's go fix our, let's go get experience to enchant all these picks before Etho gets back. Because we do need to try to record a segment with Etho later, but we don't have our tools ready. Next milestone is 10 away, Ken Dreadful. Thank you for asking. Dun, 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Okay. Hey, looks like we got another tip rolling in. Let's see who it's from. It's from Kendra. Tip in 10, who writes, smile like you got nothing to prove, no matter what you might do. It is time to expand your face. It is hard to believe there will be abacuses that will have entire rows full of beads from me, Kendra. So we'll expand the joke. Now I know. Thank you, Kendra, for that 10. That puts us now 20 even away from the next face camera expansion. Appreciate it. Let's go ahead and put some rockets across here so we don't pick up a bajillion of those orb monster things. Loud Nut writes, please, Lord, save me from this pain. And the Lord says, no, Loud Nut, you deserve it. You need to experience this in order to grow as a person. That's why I sent you to this stream with the angel at your side that will guide you. Keep your eyes open. The second angel with the speculum will keep them open. Pry your eyelids open wide, Loud Nut. That's why you don't talk to the Lord during the stream. You get a lot of weird stuff back. Somebody told me you could use Twitch chat to talk to God. And I thought, wow, Jeff Bezos thinks highly of himself. Okay, so we're going to get enough experience to not only repair our gear, but also to use these levels to actually go enchant all these shovels and pickaxes. Oh, no. I was going to say, where's the wall of these? Okay, so is Silk Touch and then Unbreaking cheaper than Unbreaking and then Silk Touch? Okay. Silk Touch to Unbreaking. Silk Touch to Unbreaking. Silk Touch to Unbreaking. $11. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to go whack some things. Yeah. Skyhacker says, I can get behind a religion that answers prayers with, nah, you needed this. I mean, if you don't want God to tell you what to do, don't pray. You can't always get what you want. No, you can't always get what you want. But if you pray sometimes, you get yelled at. Hey, we got a tip rolling in. Let's see who that one's from. It's from Leslie, who tips 10 and says, more beads, please. Oh, we have so many beads. We have many beads. I'm kind of in the middle of something in game, but like, we literally have just like cases and cases of craft beads. My child has gone mad with bead craftsmanshipness. I don't know. It's fine, but yeah. Every time, yeah. Like sometimes I'll come home from like taking my I'll go like pick up my kid from school, and I'll come home and there's just this big box in front of the door, and then it's like super heavy, and I'm just like, what is this? Like, this has got to be 25 pounds. And my kid will be like, oh yeah, I told my mom I was running out of beads. And I'm like, you're not running out of beads! Stop telling her that! That we don't need 25 pounds of plastic beads. Wait, did I somehow... Has desktop audio been muted this whole time? Welcome, Lakshmi13. Glad you could be here. Okay, so somewhere there's a book that hasn't enchanted a thing yet. Okay. Oh. Welcome, Vakare, the hero. La da 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 da. Kore wa tanbasante astoy hero. La da 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 kiddo. Da 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 dee, da da. I don't actually know any of the words to that song. Unlike Gula Guma Walu. Gula Guma Walla, Gula Guma Walla, Gula Guma Walla, Gula Guma Walla. Fua fuani, la da 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 da. Okay, I ran out of words I know. Gula Guma Walu, Gula Guma Walu. That's Japanese for round and round you're spinning, round and round you're spinning. It's a song about high school, or it's a show about high school being a challenge. Okay. Boy, we don't have enough barrels to put all these in. It's going to be a problem for later. What are the pickaxes for? Picking. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Pickaxe Joe? Where did you come from, Pickaxe Joe? Wandering Mask has seen School Rumble. Thank you. I'm glad somebody has ever seen this show ever. Everybody I've tried to describe this to thinks that I'm making it up. One of my friends from high school, who has also seen School Rumble and read A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, asked me one time, "So Joe, how does it feel that you tried to become Ford Prefect and accidentally failed into Harry Mackenzie?" And I'm like, thanks. If you aren't a really good custody attorney, we wouldn't be talking anymore. Wandering Mass says, "Oh God, what a targeted attack!" I know, right? I'm still devastated. So for those of y'all who have seen the Grian tour video and have not witnessed the majesty of this at night. Oh gosh, did the stream just break? Welcome to Holmdel at night. It looks even better. It takes a second for it to load in because we're flying from a long distance. Let's get rid of that overlay. Give me a second to take a sip of my drink. Maple Monarchy says, oh, this is glorious. Thank you. I appreciate it. Luxury13 says, we finished the tour and Eagle goes back to campus tomorrow. I hope he has a great second semester. That's fun that you guys got to spend the holidays together. Kaimalai says, I hadn't seen it with shaders. Looks amazing. Harlanzi says, it's really something special. Yeah, it's loading in as we go here. But let me go ahead and... Oh, don't want to hit the plastic. Or glass, or whatever Cubfan put there. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this is turning out. It's a lot of work, but it is paying off. It's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a Cub fan rocket man. Blasting all these things into my arm. The shrapnel is doing me a good deal of harm. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this is all turning out. Always more to do, though. Always more to do here on HermitCraft. Toy Story says, it's always fun to have a base that's bigger than your render distance. Yeah, I really wanted to push the limits of what you could do with render distance this season. MJ says, always fun seeing HermitCraft after dark. And Lakshmi13 says, the holidays were great. I hope Eagle has a great next semester too, since the first semester was so great. Super proud of him. Hey, glad to hear it. Let's go ahead and find a place to lay our heads and dream. Dee 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 dee. Wum bum bada bada bum. Good morning, Hermit Homedale. Oh, dang it! We didn't get the box that the pickaxes go in. That's a bit of an oversight. We flew all the way back here and we... Okay. So, remind me, I put all of those extra pickaxes in here. And also this and that. It's fine. That's how we learn. Okay, that needs to be slot... slot 2. Zephyr says, I'm supposed to get a blizzard tonight. Yeah! Yeah, a lot of people are getting some crazy weather. Yeah, we're expecting to be stuck inside tomorrow because there's supposed to be icy streets and frozen sleets. So, it's going to get a little bit warmer and rain later in the afternoon, but not like so quick that like anybody's going to want to be out in the roads. So we don't really know what to expect here in Tennessee. I know north of us, though, people are like, we're going to get 1.5 feet of snow. Hey, good afternoon, Green Hybrid. So this is actually supposed to be a Moby Dick stream. We've read 2 chapters so far, which is not bad. But I need to actually update that as well. Okay. So. Okay. Also, if people would like to tip, just as a reminder, we are $10 away from our next face camera expansion milestone. I promise I won't spend it all on British candy. Although we did go to the British shop of Smyrna today. Because there's an arcade Game Galaxy down in Smyrna that I wanted to go check out with my kid and Lauren. Or, sorry, Badger Spanner. And it's like across the street from a British shop. And so I did spend a lot more than usual on British biscuits. I was going to say cookies. Biscuits, candies, Were they not biscuits? What are they? I don't know. They're not biscuits. Okay. A bunch of British food. Spent more than usual on a bunch of British food. But I promise I won't do it again anytime soon, because I think we're good for, like, months. So, tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat if you'd like to support the arts and my work in particular. Oh, we actually did get crisps. Yes, we got crisps that were malt and vinegar, unlike the salt and vinegar crisps you would get in America, which we would call salt and vinegar chips. They might have been salt and vinegar. I might be misremembering it. Yeah, okay, they were salt and vinegar.
Salt and malt vinegar.
Sorry, they were salt and malt vinegar, according to Badger. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Malt vinegar is very much a British thing.
They did, okay, we did get Ribena,
Yes.
which is a British drink
Yes.
that you have to dilute 1 part Ribena to 4 parts water. And several other things.
It is very nice.
Yay.
And also curry sauce, gluten-free.
Oh, we did get gluten-free curry sauce. You said that goes on fries,
Yeah.
which are called chips.
Yes.
So I gotta go buy fries. But not tomorrow because of the frozen rain.
We won't need a callback.
Yeah. No, we won't. Okay. So, anyway, let's see. I have posted the tipping link. What do I need to do before I start the next chapter? I post the tipping link. I post the new text link for chapter 97. What we're reading is currently pointing to chapter 96. So let me update.
Make sure you muted me.
Give me a minute. Give me a minute. I'm muting Badger so much. What does Ribena taste like? It's like a grape juice. Badger immediately goes, no. Okay, it's like black currant juice.
Yes, it is literally black.
It is literally black currant juice. Which, to my untamed palate, seems like basically grapes. But whatever. I'm not in charge of England. We have a whole queen for that. Or they do. I don't know. I'm not in charge of that. Vicari the Hare says, this might be a bad question, but doesn't YouTube take a big cut out of Super Chats? It's not as bad as Twitch takes out of bits and subs, and that's why I am not a Twitch partner. It's way better than Twitch's rates. PayPal is actually the best, but not everybody has PayPal. It's not supported in all countries, so YouTube Super Chat is an alternative for PayPal for the folks who don't want to use it or can't use it. But yeah, no, Twitch is really the worst. And I'm not going to sign a bad contract with them, so I haven't. Okay, so where was I? We need to post the... Lakshmi13 calls me a king. Thank you, Lakshmi13. I do what I can. Okay, I think more people should stand up to Twitch about that, but that's just me. Okay. Where was I? Chapter... Where's the what we're reading link? I am doing a really bad job. Chapter 97. Yeah, here it is. And... La-da. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Why not indeed? Thank you. Okay, so we need to jump forward to chapter 97, The Lamp, as popularized by Robin Williams as the genie. Just kidding. Robin Williams wasn't born yet when this was written. Chapter 97 of Moby Dick, or the Whale, by Herman Melville, The Lamp. Had you descended from the Pequod's try-works to the Pequod's forecastle, where the off-duty watch were sleeping for one single moment, you would have almost thought you were standing in some illuminated shrine of canonized kings and counselors. There they lay in their triangular oaken vaults, each mariner a chiseled muteness, a score of lamps flashing upon his hooded eyes. In merchantmen, oil for the sailor is more scarce than the milk of queens. To dress in the dark and eat in the dark and stumble in darkness to his palate, this is his usual lot. But the whaleman, as he seeks the food of light, so he lives in light. He makes his berth an Aladdin's lamp, and lays him down in it, so that in the pitchiest night the ship's black hull still houses an illumination. See with what entire freedom the whaleman takes his handful of lamps, often but old bottles and vials, though, to the copper cooler at the try-works, and replenishes them there as mugs of ale at a vat. He burns to the purest of oil in its unmanufactured and therefore unvitiated state, a fluid unknown to solar, lunar, or astral contrivances ashore. It is sweet as early grass butter in April. He goes and hunts for his oil so as to be sure of its freshness and genuineness, even as the traveler on the prairie hunts up his own supper of game. And thus concludes chapter 97 of Moby Dick by Herman Melville, The Lamp. So what'd you guys think of that chapter? I'm going to go ahead and get the updated pin for chapter 98, which is coming up next. But yeah, a lot of this book is basically just him bragging about how great whaling is. Like, this is also, like, the J.D. Salinger of the era. Like, Ishmael is that guy who's like, man, whalers are the best sailors and everybody else is a bunch of phonies. Look at all these phonies. They have to eat in the dark and go to their bed in the dark. But whalers, we can just go get lamps whenever. I mean, they're not great lamps. We made them out of bottles. But we can just go over to this thing. There's a whole vat of the freshest oil. Anachronism says, I loved how lengthy it was. That is a particularly short chapter. I mentioned we were going to do a lot of chapters tonight because they're all so short. Okay, we're going to go to bed in-game before we switch chapters over, or before we start reading the next chapter. The next chapter, chapter 98, is entitled Stowing Down and Cleaning Up, or sorry, Clearing Up. I don't pre-read and practice these chapters. I've read this book before once, about a decade ago. Corinne was like 2, so maybe 9 years ago I read this book for the most recent time. And only time. So, like, I'm vaguely aware of what is in this novel. But, like, that doesn't mean, you know, it's not like A Christmas Carol where I read it every year and I've got it kind of down. So, like, I'll get to a chapter and be like, what? I don't remember this. What? Okay. It's just him talking about how great lamps are. Cool. God Hates Emily says, what I like about watching the stream is that when I miss one, I have to frantically figure out what happened in between. But no, you don't, because half the chapters are just him being like, you know what's great is light. That was just a chapter about how great light is. Hey, you know what normal sailors don't have? Lamps. But hey, we go out and we hunt the whale, so we get to enjoy the fruits of its blubber. Who lives in a whaling ship atop the sea? Ishmael. Doesn't have a last name that I could see. Ishmael. That did not get a smile from Badger. That was not a good one. Okay, I can tell. See when I do something like that, and then Badger's just like, then I'm like, okay, that's not. Don't ask for money after that. That's not a good tipping thing. That was bad. That was a bad song about Ishmael. Now we need to write a good song about Ishmael, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to afford more Ribena later. We are 10 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Okay. Sky Hacker, that's basically it. Is this guy predicted the entire internet discourse of an era in this book? Chad Whalers, indeed. Okay, so. Let's see, we've updated the links. How's my inventory? I have room in the inventory for this next chapter, probably. But it's easier to go in completely empty, so let's clear that up. Also, I do need to message Etho real quick before we start this next chapter. Cool. Cool, no worries if tomorrow night is better, but I'm still live for another half hour on HermitCraft. If now might be good for you. Okay. Now that I've messaged Etho, let's immediately jump into this chapter so it gets interrupted by Etho. Chapter 98, Stowing Down and Clearing Up. Already it has been related how the great Leviathan is afar off descried from the masthead, how he is chased o'er the watery moors and slaughtered in the valleys of the deep, how he is then towed alongside and beheaded, and how on the principle which entitled the headsman of the old garments, in which the beheaded was killed, his great padded surtout becomes the property of his executioner. How in due time he is condemned to the pots, and like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, his spermaceti oil and bone paths unscathed through the fire. But now it remains to conclude the last chapter of this part of the description by rehearsing, singing, if I may, the romantic proceeding of decanting off his oil into the casks and striking them down into the hold, where once again Leviathan returns to his native profundities, sliding along beneath the surface as before. But alas, nevermore to rise and blow. While still warm, the oil, like hot punch, is received into these 6 barrel casks, and while perhaps the ship is pitching and rolling this way and that in the midnight sea, the enormous casks are slewed round and headed over, and sometimes perilously scoot across the slippery deck like so many landslides, till at last manhandled and stayed in their course, and all round hoops, rap, rap, go, as many hammers play upon them, for now ex officio every sailor is a cooper. At length, when the last pint is cast, and all is cool, then the great hatchways are unsealed, the bowels of the ship are thrown open, and down go the casks to their final rest in the sea. This done, the hatches are replaced and hermetically closed, like a closet walled up. In the sperm fishery, this is perhaps one of the most remarkable incidents in the business of whaling. One day the planks stream with freshets of blood and oil. On the sacred quarterdeck, enormous masses of the whale's head are profanely piled. Great rusty casks lie about as if in a brewery yard. The smoke from the try-works has besooted all the bulwarks. The mariners go about suffused with unctuousness. The entire ship seems great Leviathan himself, while on all hands the din is deafening. But a day or two after, you look about you and prick your ears in the self-same ship, and were it not for the telltale boats and try-works, you would all but swear you trod some silent merchant vessel with a most scrupulously neat commander. The unmanufactured sperm oil possesses a singularly cleansing value. This is the reason why the decks never look so white, as just after what they call an affair of oil. Besides, from the ashes of the burned scraps of the whale, a potent lye is ready made. And whenever any adhesiveness from the back of the whale remains clinging to the side, that lye quickly exterminates it. Hands go diligently along the bulwarks, and with buckets of water and rags restore them to their full tidiness. The soot is brushed from the lower rigging. All the numerous implements which have been in use are likewise faithfully cleansed and put away. We're going to take a break in the middle of this chapter that's very atypical, but we have a recording with Etho we have to get done. This is making progress on the HermitCraft TCG. Okay. Did I leave any food over here? No. But we can free up some inventory space. Ta-da. Getting stuff done. Taking a sip of my drink. I hope Etho doesn't say something too funny and I spit it all out. Hey, Etho!
Yeah, howdy, Joe.
I just took a sip of my drink before you landed.
Oh, perfect.
But yeah, I was inspired by your arena to create a complimentary card shop. I know you had talked about doing one that was just a remake of the last season's shop, but Beef said, Joe, no, surprise me with something new. So
Okay, okay.
I went through, they've got that Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged series, and this is kind of the Kame game shop, interpreted for Minecraft scale, and it's not perfect. That top part of the roof there, I'm going to try and find another hermit to fix. But for you, a different task awaits. I'm giving people jobs because Beef can't do any jobs. So
Oh, you got the new moss?
we got,
Ooh.
yeah, it feels like a game store carpet. We have a lot of space in here. So wherever you want to put the vending machines for the redstone, I kept this wall clear here, but this might not be enough space. So you also have this whole main area. I'm going to work around whatever you decide by putting in like little tables like this one. This is an example table. And yeah, I feel like
For
that.
putting guards on and stuff?
Yeah. Put like little chairs with hermits. That I actually need to hit you up for some hermit heads from beneath Frogger later. But I wanted to show you real quick. So unlike the previous card shop where there was just like dirt underneath, we've got an actual proper basement here.
Oh, snap.
Yep. It actually connects over to your arena of redstone. So if you're tired of digging down through the ground to get to that,
Okay.
got a nice wide stairwell
Nice
here.
little display area.
Yeah, yeah. So you can just come down here and, poke anything that needs poking. Hopefully nothing ever needs poking again. Because, yeah, I'm sure you're done with this.
As long as we get no creepers or anything like that, it should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any creepers should spawn in here. But, yeah.
So, you mentioned you want me to do the vending machines?
Well, you had talked about doing redstone for card distribution. Were you thinking of doing card packing or card, like, the vending machines?
I was thinking more like card packing, randomizing, maybe. But
Oh, okay.
only if people are actually going to play TCG. I don't want to waste my time otherwise.
I mean, the hermits have told me they want to play it. Would the vending machines be beneath you? Should I find somebody else to give that to? Because I don't know how to do the card packing redstone either. And I'm just trying to spread the load as much as I can here.
For the vending machine, I think it's just like a dropper, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. You put in a token, and it plays like a song or a chime or something, and then it enables the buttons to work. So, like, I feel like that's an AND gate and a filter. Well, three
Maybe
AND
not
gates,
even-
one for each
Yeah,
button.
pretty much. That's pretty much it, yeah.
Yeah. But Yeah, if you wanted to do card packing, you could take a bunch of floor space down here that we don't need for that, as well as upstairs. I don't have the upstairs organized yet, but the upstairs second floor area, in the show Yu-Gi-Oh, it's actually like where the family lives, but since Beef already has a family that wants him to live with them, I figured instead of building an apartment up here, we could have a storage area. This is not good right now. This is just a bunch of shulkers I was using to build the place. But
Oh, okay.
if I don't know how much space the card randomizers and stuff would take up, maybe this is not enough.
Generally with redstone, like you want freedom to expand. So like putting it upstairs wouldn't be good because like I can't go down or up.
Yeah, but if we did it in the basement, we could add like a
If it's
sub
in
basement.
the basement, I can always just dig down if I need more space. Kind of
Okay.
thing.
Yeah, and I can set up a beacon. You can expand outward. We know exactly how far away the arena is that way because we can see it. Yeah, that makes sense.
For the randomizers though, I would need to know like what rarities and how you want it to work. 'Cause I have no clue what the goal is.
That's something I've asked Beef for but have not yet received.
Okay.
So I will follow up with him on
Okay.
that. But he's been a lot more responsive lately now that we're through the holidays. So
Yeah. Yeah, if you write me out like kind of what you want, then I can make it happen probably.
okay. No, that's totally fair. That's better than I could probably do, given the constraints. So, yeah. Well, thank you for taking that on.
Cool. Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. And then
I like the new shop, Joe. It's cozy.
oh, thank
Feels
you.
fun.
Yeah, I wanted to have 5 hermits. Kind of imagine there's like, a red team versus a blue team here in the windows. Right now I've got some spider heads on these guys though, because I didn't have enough heads to actually do everybody.
Oh, that's what you want the heads for.
That's what
Okay.
I want the heads for. And I was going to put, ideally we'd have like other hermits like playing cards at the tables and stuff too.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you don't mind, I'm going to turn night into day and then maybe you could show me where underneath Frogger I could retrieve those.
Sure.
I'm not going to take more than I need for this project because I'm sure you could sell them to Jevin and I don't want to cut into your profits there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
People aren't using Jevin's shop. I kind of.
Well, it's empty is the problem.
Well, people are supposed to fill it, with their own
Yeah.
heads. But...
So it's like all of the heads that I could buy from his shop, I have bought and already got them up here. So we've got
Okay.
an Etho over here with a golden axe. We could replace that if you have a preference for your pose and equipment. It's looking a little washed
I'm
up,
not
so
fussed
maybe we
about
could do
it.
better.
Give him a water bucket.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've got
Cool,
Jevin
cool.
with 2 clocks over there. But, yeah, let's see. I think the other, let's see, Frogger would be over that way in the shopping district. But
Yeah, it's up this way.
I think the angle this looks best from is right here. Like, right here. This is the angle that this is drawn from in all the, like, the anime and stuff. It's like,
Oh, okay.
I feel like I kind of nailed that. Everything else, I'm going to go back and tweak, I think. This is just the first
Yeah.
pass.
That's cool.
Thank you.
Matches the arena.
That was the intention. I wanted it to feel unified, but not a ripoff,
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, you want to meet over at Ravager Russian?
Yeah, that sounds great. See you there.
Okay.
Okay. Heading on over to Ravager Rush. I didn't bring any food. I better not die. Wow, I love this building. It's so cool.
Big open door. You can't miss it.
Nope.
Okay, so if you want heads ever, there's like a little. I don't know if you know about the little flippy door here.
Oh, I did not.
Yeah, you flip that, and then it makes this open up.
Whoa.
And this is like the redstone axis. I'm gonna move. There's more heads. I'm gonna move them up over here. I think. For you.
Okay.
Just so you don't have to poke around the redstone because it's a little messy back there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, so I'm gonna grab pearl, a jewel, a red.
Be right back.
Thank you. Tango and Cub Fan. Wow, there's so many hermits.
Yeah, there's 3 more boxes.
Awesome. Pearl played a lot of this game.
Pearl played a lot. Jevin played a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And Cub and Joel played quite a bit too. And Scar.
Okay. Oh, Corrales. We definitely need a Corrales. B-dubs.
Unfortunately, though, like most things, like there's certain heads you just won't get.
I mean,
But
that's fine.
There's Agree in there. There's Impulse.
I'm way ahead of where I was. Like, you know, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, I don't have Gem, Cleo, or False, which makes it seem like card shops are not a place that, you know, women hang out in, and maybe that's not the vibe we want to go for.
What is Cub Fan saying here?
Okay.
Oh, it says Reaper Head.
Ooh, fancy. Ooh, there's a Doc M. I definitely need a Doc M because he contributed some materials. I'm trying to get the people who put stuff in the shop, or like, you know, who help get the TCG thing off the ground, you know, in there for sure. Okay. So let me
Cleo down
check
here.
my list. Doc Falls. Okay, yeah, I think this is pretty solid.
You got Mumbo.
I got Mumbo, I got Tango, I got Skulk Cub and Colorful Cub. I've got Corrales, Cleo, B-dubs, False, Grian, Scar, Ren. Some of these I had already, you know, anybody that I already had from the other place. I got B-dubs, yeah. Like, Jev already had his head and my head in stock, so we didn't need those.
Bunch of XPs.
You were one of the few people that actually helped Jeff stock his shop, so your heads were in stock already, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you for that.
It's a lot harder now because we used to be able to get the heads from the trading villager, right? The Wanderer. And now we can't. So it's like...
Okay, well, this has been a huge help. So yeah, I'll follow up with Beef about getting the card rarity proportions and everything back to you. And then hopefully we can get that redstone sorted. And if it ends up not making sense to build the actual sorting machines inside there, that's okay too. We can figure somewhere else out.
Yeah, I'll just hide it underground somewhere nearby.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind digging. It'll be fine.
Cool. All right.
Thanks so much, Etho. Yeah, apparently that's not a good thing to stand on and look at.
All right, Joe, you have a good one.
You too. Thanks again. Okay, so we got that Etho recording in. I already have so many XP heads. Okay, so if y'all enjoyed that little segment with our pal Etho, just as a reminder, the reason that I'm here is because this is my actual job, and it's a viewer-supported stream. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. T. Sworn says, can't these heads just go straight into Jevin's shop? Jevin needs to buy them from Etho. That's on Jevin. I tried to go to Jevin's shop and buying all these, and you know what? This is as far as we got. So we're going to go put these heads back in the shop there, and then we'll head back to Hermit Homedale and resume our digging. And resume our reading of Moby Dick. I am feeling a lot better about this whole project. Kind of, now that I've got these heads, at least. Welcome, Space 84. Okay, so player heads, we're going to put all of these in here. Okay, so we're going to bring our toolbox back with us. We're going to bring our food box. Where's our food box? There it is. Nope, that's the rooftop party mix box. Was the food box in here the whole time? Nope. Let's Trial chamber gear. Somehow our whole inventory has gotten away from us today. It's gotten very silly very fast. But that's fine. We like silly. And we like speed. Go, Speed Racer, go! I am actually legitimately concerned that I don't know where my food box is. Because we do eat a lot of food to offset all of the explosions. And now we cannot do that. You can't eat raw eggs in Minecraft. The Surgeon General says not to. Okay, so we're going back out and through. Okay, let me just go reopen my Discord chat. I had that closed so I could see messages coming in from Etho. Dun, dun. Dee. La da 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 do. We are 10 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Flight. Whoa. La da 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 da. Brum brum brum. Flight. Whoa. La da 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 da. Boom, boom, boom. Flight. We're seeing some issues with guidance. Hey, congratulations, Lakshmi13, on your Lakshmi 13, the Bengals winning. I don't know who they were playing, but as long as it wasn't Vanderbilt, I'm happy for you. Okay. Am I sure I didn't leave the food? How do I do this? I don't... We're going to get some emeralds out, and we're just going to go buy more food. Okay. That's fine. Time is a factor. Hey, sleepy farmers. Can I sleep too? No, it's not bedtime yet. Bum bum. Okay, pumpkin pies. Breads. That guy's out of pumpkin pie. That guy's out of... Oh, that guy's got golden carrots. Those are fine. Golden carrots are also acceptable as a form of food stuff. Pumpkin pie is my favorite. So seasonal. Pumpkin pies. More pumpkins. More pies. Too pumpkin, too furious. This guy's really not supposed to be down here. Do I get out? Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so we can eat this now. Hey, Riley. Riley says, "No way! I just caught a Moby Dick stream after reading or watching Grian's video and first hearing about it." Awesome. We are in the middle of a chapter, actually. We had to take a break to record something with Etho because my life is amazing. And so now we're going to go... Oh, is this where the food was? This red box where the... No. Okay, we're putting the surplus food in this unnamed shulker then. And then we are going to go keep mining, and we're going to read Moby Dick. Yeah, I didn't think that Mumbo's 2 weeks had even started yet. I thought it started when he came back from the holidays, and then people were like, Mumbo says his 2 weeks is already over. I'm like, what? When did he get back? We're going to agree to disagree there. But hey, we got a couple tips rolling in. Let me see who they're from before we resume our reading. Thank you very much to Amanda for tipping 20. We were 10 away. Where's the camera? Sorry, I turned the camera off for the Etho recording. We were 10 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Now we are 10 past. Amanda writes, Happy New Year. It's my first stream we caught this year. Or I've caught this year. Let's start it out right. Indeed, here we go. Expand Joe. Do. And then we got another tip rolling in. That one put us 10 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. But then Perry tips 13. And that puts us $3 past the next one. So here we go. Expand me. So we're going to put my little cap on backwards here so I'm not covering too much of the screen. And I'm like I'm one of the youths. I know how hats work. Don't let the headphones not being on my head yet fool you about my hat worthiness. Then we got another tip rolling in. Oh, no, we didn't. I thought we did. Nope, it was the same one. Yay, either way. Cool. So, now we are 17 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/Joe Hills and YouTube Super Chat. And we are currently in the middle of reading chapter 98 of Moby Dick by Herman Melville. We had to take a quick break for Mumbo popping in. But now that Mumbo has left, did I mark where I... Oh, yeah. Okay, so they're talking about how clean the ship looks, right? So, besides, from the ashes of the burned scraps of the whale, a potent lye is readily made, and whenever any adhesiveness from the back of the whale remains clinging to the side, that lye quickly exterminates it. Hands go diligently along the bulwarks, and with buckets of water and rags restore them to their full tidiness. The soot is brushed from the lower rigging. All the numerous implements which have been in use are likewise faithfully cleansed, and put away. The great hatch is scrubbed and placed upon the tryworks, completely hiding the pots. Every cask is out of sight. All tackles are coiled in unseen nooks. And when, by the combined and simultaneous industry of almost the entire ship's company, the whole of this conscientious duty is at last concluded, then the crew themselves proceed to their own ablutions, shift themselves from top to toe, and finally issue to the immaculate deck, fresh and all aglow, as bridegrooms new leaped from out the daintiest holland. Now, with elated step, they pace the planks in twos and threes, and humorously discourse of parlors, sofas, carpets, and fine cambriques. Propose to mat the deck, think of hanging to the top, object not to taking tea by moonlight on the piazza of the forecastle, to hint to such musket mariners of oil and bone and blubber were little short of audacity. They know not the thing you distantly allude to. Away, and bring us the napkins. But mark, aloft there at the three mastheads stand three men, intent on spying out more whales, which, if caught, infallibly will again soil the old oaken furniture and drop at least one small grease spot somewhere. Yes, and many is the time when, after the severest uninterrupted labors, which know no night, continuing straight through for 96 hours, when from the boat where they have swelled their wrists with all day rowing on the line, they only step to the deck to carry vast chains and heave the heavy windlass, and cut and slash, yea, and in their very sweatings be smoked and burned anew by the combined fires of the equatorial sun and the equatorial triworks, when on the heel of all this they have finally bestirred themselves to cleanse the ship and make a spotless dairy room of it. Many is the time the poor fellows, just buttoning the necks of their clean frocks, are startled by the cry of "There she blows!" And away they fly to fight another whale and go through the whole weary thing again. Oh, my friends, but this is man-killing. Yet this is life, for hardly have we mortals by long toilings extracted from this world's vast bulk its small but valuable sperm, and then with weary patience cleansed ourselves from its defilements, and learned to live here in clean tabernacles of the soul. Hardly is this done, when there she blows, the ghost is spouted up, and away we sail to fight some other world, and go through some young lives through old routine again. Oh, the metempsychosis. O Pythagoras, that in bright Greece 2,000 years ago did die, so good, so wise, so mild. I sailed with thee along the Peruvian coast last voyage, and, foolish as I am, taught thee, a green simple boy, how to splice a rope. And thus concludes chapter 98 of Moby Dick, or The Whale, by Herman Melville. So, we have been talking quite a bit about the toils of whalemen in these last few chapters. We've been learning the details of how the ship works. Welcome, Wagon Snail. Hello. Hello. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year, Wagon Snail. Chapter 99, The Doubloon. I think that might be a chapter for next week, because this is going to bring us back to the main plot. This is going to bring us back to the doubloon that Ahab nailed to the mast, exhorting his men that the one who first spotted the spout, the man who first spotted the spout of the white whale would earn that doubloon, which is a good amount of gold, especially back then. That's a pretty good bonus for anybody, right? So, we're getting back to the main plot, because Ishmael has realized, oh yeah, there's a story happening too. So we need to revisit that. So this week we've been catching up on how the whale ship processes the whales. Next week, gonna be a different thing. The week after that, I'm not sure if there's going to be a stream or not. I might have some family obligations. I'm still trying to work out the exact scheduling on all that. So I'm not sure if we're going to be doing something Saturday night as well as on Sunday, or if it's just a Sunday thing. But core concept. Next week, we're definitely reading chapter 99 and a few more. The week after, I might have to skip. I'm not sure yet. Abigail Cosgrove says, I love how methodical Ishmael is with his descriptions. Well, I hope you had a fantastic tail end of the New Year celebrations out there in Hawaii, Wagon Snare. I actually had done my New Year's celebration stream was actually on the Australian time zones, because I had my own party to attend here in Nashville later that day. But I had fun. I hope your celebrations were fun as well. Okay, wow, it is 10:25 already, and this is, the stream's supposed to wrap up at around 10:30. So why don't we go ahead and do last call for tips. We are currently $17 away from the next face camera expansion milestone and the entrance of the Jost. If anyone enjoyed this stream and would like to chip in toward that next expansion, now is the perfect time to do it. I'm going to hang out for a few more minutes and give those tips a chance to roll in, as well as kind of clean up my workspace for today. And by clean up my workspace, I'm going to keep digging, but also I need to put some of those tools away and stuff like that that we shoved in that random box. Next time we go back to that beacon, we need to get those tools out of that random box, because I'll never find them again. But first, we gotta actually, you know, finish over here. Whap. Stephanie Hall says, do you have time to tell how the giant bear was packaged and presented to the party? Yeah, I told that story already, but not this stream, and so you're probably not the only person who is asking that. So, I managed to vacuum seal the giant bear into a box the size of a pinball playfield shipping box, because that's what I had, a pinball playfield shipping box from the Deep Field project. And so I also bought a copy because the bear was returning to its native homeland. It was getting back to nature. This is the party where that bear was born, for all intents and purposes, and I was returning this bear to the same party like 8 years later. I also picked up Nick Offerman's new book, Where the Deer and the Antelope Roam, which is a travelogue about visiting natural areas like national parks and stuff like that. So, the person who unboxed this was like, okay, there is a book in here, and then there's something huge. But who unboxed this? Well, let's roll back a little bit. So, the way we were playing the game, there were about 25 people playing, but we weren't sure exactly how many, because sometimes people roll in last minute for this party. So, my friend, the host of the party, put 30 names in a hat. And so, the idea is that number one gets to steal. Number one can't steal on their turn. They can only open something from the pile. But they get to steal again at the end of the game, when we've gone through all the numbers, if they would like. Or they can keep the gift they have. So, number one stands up when we start the game and immediately goes to the gift pile and picks up the box with the bear in it. Because everybody's like, big one, big one, big one. And so, yeah, the first person opened that up, was like, hey, it's Nick Offerman's book. And everybody's like, ooh, because he's a Parks and Rec guy. And everybody likes Nick Offerman at the party. And I'm like, I know my audience here. But then the guy is like, and what else is in here? It's like wrapped in plastic. And he pulls out this giant Ziploc vacuum-sealed bag with the stuffed 5.5-foot bear in it. And everyone's like, don't open that, don't open that. We'll never get it back in there. And so he's just like, okay, okay. So then the other gift we bought, I had wrapped very differently. And the other gift we bought was immediately chosen by player number 2. Which was a hard hat and a first aid kit. Like an actual, like, construction quality hard hat. Which, you know, could be handy if in certain situations. But anyway. So, both of those gifts, I was pretty happy with. I was like, there's 2 themes. One of the themes is safety, one of the themes is back to nature. They were both wrapped well enough that people pulled them from the pile first and second. The first 2 gifts pulled from the pile were gifts that I wrapped. So I was pretty happy with that. I felt like that meant I did a good job. But anyway, so I was texting Scar this, because Scar had messaged me before the party and was like, dude, you gotta keep me posted. I want to know what happens. So, you know, at one point, he's like, hey, so I told him, I sent him a message saying, hey, player 1 pulled this. So it's in play. And then when we got to player 17, Scar texted me back. He's like, anything yet? Anybody steal it? And I'm like, no, not yet. But then we got to player 27 or 28. We're getting toward the end of the 30. And this woman who, it was her first time at this party, visiting from Virginia, was just like, well, I've got to have that, and steals the bear. And so the bear has a new home in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and as well as the nick off of the book. So the book the book and bear combo were good enough not only to be opened first, but to be one of the last gifts stolen. Because by the time player 27 comes out, almost everything is open, right? That person can steal a lot of gifts, a lot of choices. And that person chose to steal that bear. So I'm feeling good about this. So bear has a new home where it will be loved and used and on display. And Badger managed to steal a Lego Mario Piranha Plant from the Super Mario World series. And I managed to steal a drum kit, or a steel tongue drum that I can't play on this stream because we don't want to get copyright strikes, but I played it last night on stream because that one we didn't have a VOD for, so I don't have to worry about copyright strikes with music and stuff. But yeah, for people who are like, why are there no VODs? I can't really do music and VODs because people keep claiming that music I made was made by them, and it's a nightmare. It's actually harder to use your own music on stream than it is to license other people's music, is the short version, because the person you license the music from has to constantly email YouTube about nonsense, and I don't have time for that, so I'm just not doing that. I'm just not having bots. But yeah, the steel tongue drum I played last night. It's not a tiny marimba. It's like 15 inches wide. It's big. But yeah, that's what I stole. But anyway. So we'll hear that on future streams where there's not going to be a VOD. But for the Moby Dick streams, we like to avoid music so we can guarantee a VOD for anybody who missed the reading tonight. So yeah. Let's go ahead and see if that story was something people enjoyed. Once we clear out this little bit of stone, we will do a hard refresh on PayPal and see if any tips have rolled in. But I want to get rid of this stone. Oh, and I need to move those pickaxes to the proper box, because they're still in that random box, and that's going to bug me. I feel like we actually got a good amount of digging done tonight, even though we were kind of distracted with the Etho thing. So that's good. Okay. Do. What was the Etho thing? Oh, we had to do a recording with Etho. That was why we cut into the middle of the chapter. Which we wouldn't normally cut into the middle of a chapter, but Etho. Worth it. Okay, so additional armor, tools, and gearbox. Actually, this is probably going to have to go in the armor box because my toolbox is full. We're going to have to make a separate pickaxe box. But either way, this is now going back into our ender chest where we can find it later. Okay, so making progress on our project. And we can clean this a little bit up too. And to think, this looked like the sort of thing we would never make any progress on ever. And now we're back here actually digging it out on Saturday night, feeling good about ourselves. Yay! Because, yeah, this was one of those things where I was like, I still have to remove that whole mountain over there. When am I going to get to it? I'm missing a bunch of streams because of the holidays. Well, we got to it tonight. And also because of the TCG launch. Like, we have to get this TCG stuff out the door. Hermits want to play. But, like, a lot of them are like, oh, man, I can't wait to play TCG as soon as the cards arrive in the middle of January. But also, I'm going on vacation to visit my family until the middle of January. So, I'm doing my best. I am doing my best to get stuff out the door. And available. Okay. I think I might have intended to keep this cave at some point, but also, we can clean it up later. Terraforming is quite relaxing. Thank you for noticing. Okay. So, let's go ahead and check on who is live. We're going to do a hard refresh on PayPal. Looks like no additional tips. That's okay. I just didn't want to miss thanking people. Okay, well, it looks like Jamal has a 4-year stream anniversary. We're going to go ahead and raid Jamal. This is not always a family-friendly stream. Jamal is personally pretty family-friendly, but the music in the background sometimes has swear words. But so just so you know, I think Jamal's a great guy, but if you are sensitive about your musical choices, might not be the best stream for you. Jamal is, in my opinion, probably the best builder I've seen who isn't on HermitCraft. Like, does colossal scale builds with incredible levels of detail. Just absolutely unmatched. Goran, you're here! And also leaving. Bye, Goran. But yeah, when you get over to not Goran's, when you get over to Jamal's stream, say howdy y'all. Joe Hill's right here. It looks like he's touring one of his desert villages now. I've been watching this project. He's been working on this for months. I pop in and lurk here all the time. He's a great guy, great streamer. Until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring.